With over 2 billion monthly users, YouTube Ads makes it easy to expand your reach.
Most people lose not because they're weak, because they never learned the rules. And in a world built on power, ignorance is the fastest way to stay at the bottom. Today, I'm revealing 15 more ruthless, quiet, and genius-level laws from the 48 laws of power. Laws that let you outthink, outplay, and outlast anyone. If part 1 opened your eyes, part 2 will change your entire mindset. Let's begin. In this world, there is one harsh rule. Anyone who fears you will never leave you alive. Mercy is a mistake that can destroy you. If you let your enemy live, you've already lost. Consider yourself dead the moment you hesitate. This is Law 16. Crush your enemy completely. There is no victory in showing mercy. No safety in sparing those who want to destroy you. Doing things halfway only gives your enemy a chance to strike back. And by the time you understand this, it's already too late. Power follows one simple rule. Either you destroy your enemy completely, or your enemy will destroy you. If you take away their strength but let them live, you only give them time to grow stronger and come for you. Mercy is a trap. Leaving your enemy alive is like signing your own death sentence. If you want to keep your power, then leave nothing of your enemy behind. Fear is not just a feeling. It's the greatest weapon of all. People always respect what they fear. If you can make them believe you are capable of anything, they will never take you lightly. This is Law 17. Keep others in suspense. The moment people start understanding your moves, they begin to control you. Predictability is weakness. But if you remain unpredictable, if you are a force they can never fully grasp, everyone will tread carefully around you. Fear makes them cautious, and caution keeps you in power. You must build a presence so powerful that even the mere thought of crossing you feels like suicide. Remember, fear is a weapon that multiplies your strength without you having to lift a finger. When people fear you, they will hesitate to challenge you. They will second-guess their every move, crippled by doubt and dread. Your reputation should be like a shadow that stretches far beyond your actual power. The more unpredictable and dangerous you seem, the more control you gain. Fear is the most effective form of respect. It forces people to think twice, to bow down before they even consider standing against you. Understand this. Fear is a silent killer. It strikes the minds of your enemies long before you ever have to act. If people fear you, they will never dare to move against you. And if they do, their courage will already be broken. Cultivate fear like a weapon, and you will become untouchable. A lion is the most powerful creature, but if it's alone, even dogs dare to bite it. The more you isolate yourself from others, the weaker you become. True strength doesn't lie in standing alone, but in surrounding yourself with the right people. This is Law 18. Build a network of power. Isolation is a trap. It may give you a sense of control, but it leaves you vulnerable and exposed. Those who cling to their own strength alone will eventually fall, but those who draw strength from others will always rise. True power comes from alliances, from building a network that supports you when the weight of the world grows heavy. Successful people never stay isolated. They thrive within the crowd, extracting power and influence from every connection they make. They understand that true strength comes from the loyalty, fear, and admiration of others. They build alliances, they form factions, and they use those networks to execute their plans flawlessly. Power flows through people like blood through veins. If you cut yourself off from everyone, you sever your own lifeline. Alone, you are fragile, but with the right people by your side, you are unbreakable. The wise know how to surround themselves with allies who empower them. They create fear and loyalty alike. They use people as tools and shields. They plan from the shadows, but their influence reaches far and wide. If you believe you can achieve greatness alone, you are lying to yourself. Power is never a solitary pursuit. It thrives among the many, drawn from their loyalty, fear, and admiration. Remember this: the strongest empires are built by many hands, but they are ruled by a single mind.
Now listen to what that man
Your
said.
downfall can happen faster than you think if you mess with the wrong person. Not everyone is the same. Some people forgive and forget, but others quietly wait for the perfect moment to destroy you. This is Law 19. Know who you are dealing with. One wrong move, one careless word, and you could make an enemy who will stop at nothing to see you fall. The world is filled with two kinds of people: those who swallow their pride and move on, and those who wait for years, planning their revenge in the dark. You won't even realize it until it's too late. Your greatest enemy could be the one standing closest to you, hiding their hatred behind a friendly smile. That's why you must always be aware of who you're dealing with. Know their strengths, their weaknesses, and most importantly, their nature. Carelessness is death. Underestimating the wrong person can turn your life into a nightmare. Some people are willing to wait as long as it takes to strike back, and when they do, it will be with everything they have. Never assume everyone will play by the same rules. Never assume kindness where only hatred grows. Words you speak without thought can create enemies for life. Always watch your back. Understand the people around you. Learn who you can manipulate, who you can trust, trust and who you
Just-
must
I'm
avoid
just
at all
fucking off,
costs. Because the most
I
dangerous
don't even wear
enemies
shorts,
are the
I'm
ones
chilling.
who remain patient, silently preparing for your destruction. If you ignore this law, you will eventually cross someone who will dedicate their existence to tearing you down. Never be careless with your words or actions. Study
Listen to this
everyone
nigga,
you
though.
encounter and never assume anyone is harmless. The moment you tie yourself to one person, you've already dug your own grave. People crave loyalty, they demand it. But the truth is, the
I'm
second
messing
you
like a
lock yourself
motherfucker right
to
now.
one person's desires, you become nothing more than their puppet. This is law. 20. Never chain yourself to anyone. Loyalty is only respected until it becomes a trap. Once you give away your freedom, you've surrendered your power. And if you make the mistake of binding yourself to someone's will, they will use you, control you, and discard you when you no longer serve their purpose. Loyalty is a double-edged sword. While others expect it from you, they will rarely return it. They want you to be loyal because it gives them control over you. And once you've given that control away, reclaiming it is nearly impossible. They will call it loyalty, but it's really just a chain around your neck, a leash they can pull whenever they desire. True power comes from remaining free, from keeping everyone guessing where your true allegiance lies. Never let anyone claim you. Never allow yourself to be owned. Loyalty is only powerful when it's given by choice, not when it's forced or expected. When you become a slave to loyalty, you lose your freedom, your strength, and your control. Remember this, if you give your loyalty blindly, you are digging your own grave. And once you're buried under their control, no one will save you. True power belongs to those who keep their freedom intact. Never hand over your will to anyone, because once you do, you will never be the same again. Stop this video right here if you think you're the smartest person in the room. But if you've ever been underestimated, this video could become your greatest weapon. Everyone wants to appear powerful and intelligent, but here's the secret. If you always try to look smart, people will plot against you. They will see you as a threat. They will scheme and manipulate to tear you down. But if you can make them believe you're harmless, if you can convince them you're nothing but a fool, then you can turn their own schemes against them. This is the truth. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who constantly show off their intelligence, desperate to prove they know everything, and those who let others believe they're smarter, feeding their arrogance, making them feel secure and in control. If you reveal your true power, people will fear you. They will guard their secrets, hide their intentions, and strike against you when you least expect it. But if you play the fool, if you act like you know nothing, they will reveal everything. They will drop their guard. They will underestimate you. And once they do, you will have the upper hand. You will see their plans before they even take shape. You will know their weaknesses, their intentions, their desires, all because they thought you were too stupid to understand. Remember, appearing powerful can be a strength, but appearing weak can be an even greater weapon. Those who are underestimated have the greatest advantage. So tell me, what will you choose? To flaunt your strength and be feared, or to hide your power, play the fool, and control the game from the shadows? Before we move forward, I'm handing you something lethal. Not motivation, not inspiration. This is a weapon of ruthless intelligence. It's called the Whisper's Secret, and it will dismantle everything you thought you knew about the mind. You will train for psychological immunity. Emotional attacks will bounce off you like static. You will master neuroessentialism, stripping away human noise until only precision remains. You will learn mental manipulation, not persuasion, not influence, control. Surgical, invisible, absolute. You'll transcend your cognition, rewrite your own reality, and walk the path of the mental overlord, where logic is law and dominance is non-negotiable. This is more than knowledge. It's a system, strategic exercises to erase weakness, frameworks to manipulate environments and minds, lifetime upgrades to ensure your evolution never stops. Let me be clear, this isn't for the kind. It's for the calculated, the ones who see emotion as a liability and control as currency. If you're ready to become the type of mind that bends others without them noticing, if you're prepared to abandon comfort, morality, and limitation, then take the Whisper's Secret, not for inspiration, but for conquest. The link is in the comment. Download the ebook, the audiobook, or both. Begin your transformation now. If you think giving up is a sign of weakness, then you will never truly win in life. The biggest mistake you can make is trying to win every battle. Sometimes the smartest move is to lose on purpose. Here's the truth. If you can make your opponent believe they've defeated you, you gain control over them. This is the lesson. People mistake surrender for weakness, but in reality, it can be the ultimate power. This is Law 22, the art of strategic surrender. If you appear weak, bow down, and let them taste victory, their guard will drop. They will relax, become careless, and expose their true true intentions. And the moment they do, that's when you strike. That's when you tear them down completely. People always assume that the one who loses is weak, but real strength lies in knowing when to bend, when to bow, and when to strike back. Surrender can be the sharpest weapon in your arsenal. It allows you to study your enemy, to understand their tactics, to prepare your own plan while they celebrate a false victory. When the situation turns against you, don't be afraid to surrender. Use it to your advantage. By appearing defeated, you can lure your enemies into traps they never see coming. You can gain their trust, only to use it against them when the time is right. Victory doesn't always come from fighting harder. Sometimes it comes from fighting smarter. Giving up control temporarily is not true defeat. It's a strategy, and those who master it hold a power greater than any brute force. Think about it. When was the last time you gained something valuable by surrendering? The greatest victories are often built on the illusion of defeat. Play the game wisely, and even your losses will bring you closer to ultimate power. Your biggest enemy is your own wasted energy. Chasing success blindly only leads to exhaustion and disappointment. This is Law 23. Focus your power. If you keep running after every opportunity, spreading yourself thin, you will end up with nothing but frustration. True success is not about trying to win every battle. It's about choosing the right battles and giving them everything you have. Scattered energy is like a dull blade. No matter how hard you try, it will never cut deep. To achieve true power, you must concentrate your efforts. Focus on one goal, one mission, and pour all your energy into it. People fail because they chase too many things at once. They waste their energy trying to achieve everything, but end up achieving nothing. The more you divide your focus, the weaker you become. Understand this. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who try to do everything. They are the ones who choose their targets carefully and attack them with ruthless precision. If you continue to spread yourself thin, you will always remain weak. But if you gather your energy, sharpen your focus, and aim it at a single point, you will become unstoppable. Your greatest enemy is not the world around you. It's your own lack of focus. To achieve true power, you must cut away all distractions and direct your energy toward what truly matters. Remember, the key to success is not in doing everything, but in doing one thing with absolute mastery.
You hear what that man said?
If you think talent alone brings success, you are still living in a dream. In this world, becoming powerful is not about pure skill. It's about manipulation, flattery, and mastering the egos of others. This is Law 24, perfect courtier. Those who rely only on their abilities always end up left behind. Why? Because skill alone is never enough. The real power lies in understanding people's egos, playing to their desires, and making them feel important. Before you try to be a master, first learn to master others' egos and moods. Praise them, study their games, and feed their pride. Only then will you achieve true power. In this world, managing people's egos is far more important than just displaying your own talent. You must understand this. Pure talent is like a blade without a handle, sharp but difficult to control. But when you master the art of handling others' egos, you gain leverage, influence, and control. If you refuse to play the game, if you cling only to your raw ability, then no matter how talented you are, you will always remain nothing more than a pawn. Because talent without influence is powerless. The most powerful people in this world are not always the most talented. They are the ones who understand how to stroke egos, how to manipulate pride, and how to make others feel valued while secretly pulling all the strings. So the next time you chase success, remember, this world does not reward skill alone. It rewards those who know how to manipulate the pride and vanity of others. That is the true path to power. If you think you truly know yourself, then you are still living a lie. You are not who you think you are. You are who the world has shaped you to be. Your identity, your thoughts, everything you believe about yourself is a product of other people's minds. If you haven't created your own identity, then you are always under someone else's control. This is Law 25. You create yourself. If you let the world define who you are, you will always be a puppet dancing to someone else's strings. You must take control of your identity. Rebuild yourself into someone powerful, someone who answers to no one. In this world, true winners are those who constantly reinvent themselves, who change and adapt without fear. If you refuse to change, others will use you like a tool. They will mold you into whatever suits their needs, and you will remain nothing but a puppet. Your true identity is not what you have chosen. It's what society has forced upon you. Until you take control of who you are, you will always be a weaker version of yourself. Understand this. Your identity is your greatest weapon, but only if it is one you have forged yourself. If you haven't rebuilt yourself, then the world will break you and turn you into something something unrecognizable. Recreating yourself is the ultimate power. It means breaking free from the roles, labels, and limits the world has placed upon you. It means becoming whatever you desire to be, not what others expect you to be. If you fail to build your own identity, the world will keep tearing you apart, reshaping you into something weaker and more obedient. Your power lies in your ability to transform, to burn away your old self and rise stronger, more ruthless, more unstoppable. So ask yourself, are you who you want to be or who the world has made you? Until you decide to recreate yourself, you will never hold true power. If you think appearing innocent will keep you safe, then you still haven't understood the game. The greatest rulers in history didn't always win by fighting. They won by making others do the dirty work for them. This is Law 26. Keep your hands clean. There was once a king who won every war, but the truth is, he never raised a sword himself. His enemies fell one by one, yet he always remained untouched, his name clean and unblemished. His true power didn't come from his army, it came from his cunning. He controlled others from the shadows, always keeping his own hands spotless. The secret to his power was simple. He let others do the dirty work. He manipulated their greed, their anger, their ambitions. When things went wrong, he was never blamed. When victories were achieved, he stood in the light, pure and innocent. This is the ultimate art of manipulation, letting others do the deeds while you reap the rewards. Always appear clean, always seem innocent, while behind the scenes you control everything. When you appear innocent, people trust you. They let their guard down. They believe you are harmless, and that's when you strike. A ruthless mind hidden behind a pure face is the deadliest weapon of all. Ever wondered why the most powerful players in the world always seem innocent? Because the ones who act openly and aggressively always attract attention, always draw enemies. But those who play from the shadows, letting others take the fall, always end up on top. To master this law, you must learn to let others take the blame when things go wrong. Let them believe you are pure, while you pull the strings from the darkness. Innocence is your disguise. Cunning is your weapon. The world rewards those who can manipulate without being detected. Stay clean, let others do the dirty work, and watch as the world believes in your innocence, even as you control everything. If you think people will follow you just because you exist, then you still haven't understood the real rule of power. The most powerful leaders in history didn't just demand loyalty, they created it. This is Law 27. Play on people's needs to create dependence. There was once a man who held thousands under his control. People obeyed his every word with blind faith, worshiping him as if he was a god. But his power didn't come from truth. It came from giving people what they craved the most. Hope. People don't want the truth. They want something to believe in. They want a leader who promises them safety, power, and purpose. They don't care if it's real or an illusion, as long as it gives them comfort. Understand this. The greatest leaders didn't just show people the way. They made the people feel that only they held the answers. They made themselves irreplaceable. When people were lost, they gave them hope. When they were weak, they gave them strength. When they were broken, they gave them purpose. But the real power lies in making them believe they cannot survive without you. If you want absolute control, make them dependent on you. Become their only source of hope, of guidance, of power. When people come to rely on you completely, their loyalty is yours forever. They will follow your every command, believe your every word, and defend you against anyone who dares to question your power. Think about it. Why did the greatest kings, rulers, and leaders throughout history have so much control? It wasn't just because of their strength or wisdom. It was because they made the people believe that only they could deliver what they desired. They created a dependence so strong that the people couldn't imagine life without them. So the next time you seek power, don't just lead. Make them need you. Feed their hopes, fuel their desires, and ensure that you are the only one who can fulfill them. Only then will you have true power. A king had an empire of thousands, but a single fear defeated him. It wasn't the fear itself that destroyed him, it was his hesitation. If you are afraid to take action, understand this. You are already dead. This is Law 28. Enter action with boldness. There was once a young warrior who had an entire empire prepared to crush him, but he did something most wouldn't dare. He acted with fearless boldness. Before his enemies could even strike, his sheer audacity threw them into chaos. The power of boldness is undeniable. It defeats fear before the battle even begins. Boldness is a weapon more powerful than any army. When you act with courage and confidence, your enemies become confused. They hesitate, they doubt, and in that moment of hesitation, you win. Boldness brings clarity. It destroys fear and places you in control. But remember this, no great leader has ever risen to power by playing it safe. Playing small is a guaranteed path to failure. Boldness is not recklessness. It is calculated courage. It is the ability to strike with strength while everyone else remains paralyzed by doubt. If you approach life timidly, fear will devour you. But if you charge forward with relentless boldness, nothing will stand stand in your way. The greatest mistake people make is allowing fear to hold them back. The difference between success and failure is often just one decisive move made with absolute confidence. Fear is nothing but a barrier in your mind. Boldness shatters that barrier and forces the world to submit to your will. Your enemies will struggle to keep up because they will be too overwhelmed by your daring moves. Boldness is not just a trait, it is your greatest weapon. Either you push forward without fear, or fear will consume you. The choice is yours. Will you act boldly, or will you let fear keep you forever chained? If you think you're winning, you're still trapped in an illusion. Most people fail because they only plan the beginning but never think about the end. This is Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Napoleon was a master of strategy. His battles almost always turned into victories. But in 1812, he made a fatal mistake. He invaded Russia. His initial plan was perfect. He pushed the Russian army back, marching all the way to Moscow. But here's where he failed. He never planned for the end. The Russians burned Moscow to the ground, leaving him with nothing. No food, no shelter. And the brutal winter came crashing down upon his unprepared army. Napoleon's brilliant start became a disastrous end. The lesson: if you don't plan for the end, you are only preparing for failure. Most people become obsessed with their initial success, but winners are those who foresee the final outcome from the very beginning. Every move you make has a consequence. If you haven't planned for the end, your enemies will, and when they do, they will destroy you. Those who fail are the ones who only see the immediate reward, not the inevitable consequence. But true power comes from thinking beyond the first step, from seeing the final outcome before it even begins. Understand this: if you haven't thought about the end, then you're leaving your fate in the hands of your enemies. A wise man doesn't just act, he calculates every possible outcome. He plans for victory from the very beginning, and he leaves nothing to chance. So ask yourself, are you planning all the way to the end, or are you setting yourself up for failure by only focusing on the beginning? If you want to conquer, you must always have the end in mind. Avoid showing off your efforts. If you think true power lies in displaying your strength, then you are gravely mistaken. This is Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. There was once a famous athlete named Michael Jordan who scored a winning shot in the last seconds of a game. The crowd was stunned. His move was perfect, his confidence unshakable. It looked as if everything happened naturally, like magic, but the truth was far different. Behind that effortless performance were countless hours of grueling practice, endless failures, and relentless improvement. If you show your struggle, people will only see your weakness. The world admires results, not the process. Success achieved through blood, sweat, and tears should appear as if it was done without effort. Mastery lies in concealing the hard work. When people believe your success comes easily, they will be in awe. They will fear your skill, thinking you possess a natural talent they can never match. True power is making your victories seem effortless. Make your results look so smooth, so flawless, that people cannot even imagine the effort behind them. The world asks, how did you do it? But they don't really want the answer. They want to believe in something beyond their reach. So give them the illusion. Let them believe that your success is effortless, even when you've bled for it. Let your victories shine, but hide the struggle beneath the surface. Because when you appear effortlessly powerful, your enemies will never understand your true strength. That's it for today's dive into power. But listen closely. If you haven't watched part 1, you're already missing the foundation. These laws aren't random tricks. They're a system. And missing even one, that's how people get played without ever knowing it. Part 3 is coming, but power favors the prepared. So while you wait, do something most people never will. Download the Whisper's secret ebook. Inside are principles too dangerous to speak out loud. Mental weapons that make you sharper, colder, and more impossible to manipulate. They won't teach you this in books. They can't say this out loud in schools. But once you see it, you'll never see people the same way again. Watch part 1, get the ebook, and prepare for part 3. This is how dangerous people are made.
Listen to what this boss saying.
Spring is fastly approaching, and spring is the perfect time to do a fresh declutter, clear out the junk, clear out all of the funk. Having a clean space can also help you have a clean mind. And
Listen.
Calm and not engage. You don't give her the reaction she's looking for, and that drives her crazy. Why? Because you've just shown her that she doesn't have power over you. When you refuse to retaliate emotionally,
Mufasa, tell me what you feel. What you see.
Everything the light touches is your canvas with Sharpie creative markers. Now available in new earth tones. And see Disney's Mufasa the Lion King. Now playing only in theaters. Rated PG.
I don't know. It depends. Yeah, I be listening to some real nigga shit though. Give me a thumbs up if y'all want to listen to some real nigga shit on that, or y'all want me to freestyle for y'all. Cause I can freestyle, I can do whatever. But right now, I don't know what I want to do. So I'm enjoying whatever I want to do, that I don't want to do, that I do. Bitch, I'm out here thugging by myself, me and God. Listen to what that ball be saying. Listen to what that nigga said, dude.
What do you
Nigga stop acting like some bitch ass
Everything
niggas
the
and
light
use the fucking
touches is
power
your
we got.
canvas.
Basically, what the fuck he saying. Stop acting like some bitch ass niggas and use that power y'all got. Cause motherfuckers be manipulating us all day, bitch. All day they do it. All day. All day. I don't know if I fucking. I don't feel like rapping for y'all. I'll try. I'm about to get on that mind shit. Trying to change my mind and shit, you hear me? It ain't gonna be real about rap right now, cause I don't wanna do it. I gotta follow my heart. I don't wanna follow my heart. I'm gonna put some real nigga shit on. And I listen to what I be putting on. Y'all don't be listening. I be listening to some fire shit though.
Perfect trick. It's easy to
If
learn.
it ain't building
so
my mind,
everyone
I don't
in
wanna
no
listen.
time. It's also a great.
Ah, you're here. Good. Because the world has no clue what's about to hit them. You see, everyone remembers the fall. They love the collapse, the failure, the public unraveling. They celebrate your ruin, don't they? Like hyenas sniffing blood in the wind. They laughed, they pointed, they moved on. You were their entertainment, their little tragedy. Just another name to whisper when they wanted to feel better about their own worthless lives. But now they're staring again, aren't they? Eyes wide, mouths shut, hearts pounding. Not with pity, not with concern. No. With terror, with wonder, with regret. Because what the hell did you become? You didn't just bounce back. You didn't crawl out of the grave still clinging to your old self. No. You dismantled who you were. You burned the blueprint. And then you built something no one can define, no one can measure, no one can stop. They thought you were done, but you were only loading. They thought you were broken, but you were evolving. They thought you were weak, but you were becoming unstoppable. This is not a comeback. This is domination. Do you remember those nights? The ones that blurred into weeks, and the weeks into silence? When no one checked on you, when no one believed in you, when even your own reflection started to mock you. Yeah, that's where the new you was forged. Not in light, not in comfort, but in fire. You didn't just survive the darkness, you became part of it. You drank the pain like poison, and it made you immune. You turned loneliness into armor. You turned betrayal into blades. And now you don't just walk into the room. You shift the gravity of it. You're not here to explain yourself. You're not here to be liked, welcomed, or understood. You are here to make sure they never forget you. Not in passing, not in rumor, not in memory, but in fear, in respect, in obsession. Let them ask, what the hell did you become? Let them whisper it behind closed doors with trembling voices. Let them try to decode you, contain you, calm you. They can't. You are not a comeback story. You are the storm that ends stories. You are what happens when a soul refuses to stay buried, when pain is no longer the enemy, but the fuel. When every scar becomes a medal, and every loss becomes a lesson, and every no becomes a war cry. They thought you were emotional. Now you are explosive. They thought you were unstable. Now you are untouchable. They thought you needed saving. Now they're praying. They don't need saving from you. So let them stare. Let them gossip. Let them ask. Let them tremble in their little worlds of mediocrity and judgment. Because you don't fit anymore. You don't shrink anymore. You don't apologize anymore. You stand, you roar, you own, not just your name, not just your past, but the whole damn narrative, the whole damn world. This isn't a redemption arc. This is a takeover. This is the part where the old you dies, and the new you, the unholy, unbreakable, untamed version, begins the reign. So the next time they ask, what the hell did you become? You look them dead in the eye and say, everything you tried to bury, everything you feared I'd find, everything you never had the strength to become. And then you walk away. While they drown in the silence you leave behind. Ah, but they don't really want the answer, do they? They ask it like a question, but it's really a confession, a trembling little whisper of fear, because deep down, they know. They know something unnatural happened while they weren't watching, something unforgivable, something they'll never understand. You didn't just change, you detonated. And now you're walking through the wreckage wearing the crown of your own ashes. See, people love controlled chaos. They love a rebel who still plays by invisible rules, who breaks down, but not too far, who gets angry, but not too loud, who fights back, but still loses at the end, because that keeps them comfortable, because that keeps you manageable. But what do they do when the person they underestimated refuses to die in the script? What do they do when the villain they thought they created writes their own damn ending? That's you now. A glitch in the matrix of their fake morality, a virus in their tidy little hierarchy. You were supposed to disappear, but you came back laughing, burning, building empires from your own bones. This is beyond resilience. This is beyond recovery. This is what happens when the pain doesn't break you. It transforms you. No more tiptoeing, no more filters, no more playing dead just to keep them comfortable. You snapped. And what spilled out wasn't weakness. It was power, pure, raw, radiant, terrifying. They can't label you now. They can't box you in. They can't shame you into silence. Because you no longer need their acceptance. You don't even hear their applause. You're too busy orchestrating symphonies in the shadows they abandoned you in. Remember when they thought you lost your mind? Good. Because that's the exact moment you found your soul. You didn't rebuild the old you. You murdered the old you and planted something in the soil so monstrous, so magnificent, it now grows in the shape of vengeance and victory. They won't clap, they won't cheer, they won't support. They'll watch, they'll whisper, they'll wonder. And that is the power. You don't owe them peace, you don't owe them explanations. You owe yourself one thing: domination. Not petty revenge, not validation. Total, unrelenting domination. Because this world, it doesn't reward the soft. It doesn't remember the obedient. It only bows to the ones who stopped asking for permission and took the throne anyway. And now you are that throne. You are the ending they never saw coming. You are the question they'll never answer. So let them keep saying it. What the hell did you become? And you smile, because you know what you became. You became the consequence. You became the roar that silence gave birth to. You became the god hidden inside the grave they dug for you. And this is not your comeback. This is your coronation. You feel it now, don't you? That electricity in your blood, that pressure in your chest, that voice in the back of your mind finally screaming, I was never meant to bow. Because now it's not just about proving them wrong. It's about erasing the version of you that ever needed to. They tried to bury you beneath expectations, guilt, shame, silence. They tried to wrap your identity in chains so tight you'd forget who you were before they started rewriting your story. But guess what? You remember now. And that memory, that flicker of truth that survived the war, it didn't come back quiet. It came back swinging. You didn't become something polite. You didn't become something pretty. You didn't come back with soft hands and a gentle smile. You came back with ruin in your veins and rage on your breath, because you finally saw it. The whole game, the hypocrisy, the fraud, the cowardice hidden behind rules, systems, expectations. They punished your rebellion because it reminded them of their own surrender. They feared your rise because it exposed how low they chose to stay. They hated your transformation because it made their excuses look pathetic. And now they watch you like a wildfire, too big to contain, too powerful to ignore, too damn real to destroy. What the hell did you become? You became the threat they prayed would never wake up. You became the living proof that survival is just the starting point. You became the weapon that forged itself. No savior, no mercy, just intent sharpened into destiny. Let me be very clear. This is no comeback. Comebacks are for underdogs, for redemption stories, for people begging to be welcomed back into the same sick system that spit them out. But you want nothing back. You came for everything. Not to ask, not to beg, to take. You're not knocking on doors anymore. You're kicking them down. You're not waiting for an invitation. You're writing the guest list. And your name. It's etched in blood, chaos, and gold. This is what happens when a soul refuses to stay quiet. When pain doesn't just leave scars, it becomes a signature. When failure doesn't end the story, it becomes the prologue. You're not a survivor anymore. You're a force. You're a movement. You're a revolution with teeth. And as they stand there watching, whispering, trembling, let them cling to their old version of you. Let them mourn the docile shadow they thought would never rise again. Because the truth is brutal. The truth is simple. You didn't become someone else. You became everything you were always meant to be, before the world lied to you. Now we're past the point of return, aren't we? We've crossed that invisible threshold, where words no longer feel like enough, where silence starts to burn, where your very presence becomes an act of war. Because when you become something that was never meant to exist, the world takes it personally. They don't just reject you. They try to erase you. Because you've outgrown the language they use to define control. You've outgrown their entire system of worth. You were supposed to play your part. The quiet one. The failure. The broken toy tossed in life's discard pile. But you didn't just fix yourself. You replaced yourself. Piece by piece, scar by scar. And then you lit the blueprint on fire. So when they look at you now, they don't see a person. They see a reckoning. They see everything they've tried to suppress. Alive, walking, breathing, unapologetic. You are the unfiltered consequence of years of neglect, betrayal, lies, and false promises. And no amount of polite conversation or fake concern can put you back in that cage again. Let them say it. Let them whisper it like it's some kind of warning. What the hell did you become? And here's the answer they can't handle. You became the collapse of everything that tried to destroy you. You became the mirror they can't look into. You became the price of underestimating someone who had nothing left to lose. And now you're not coming for closure. You're coming for the throne. You don't want peace. You want impact. You want them to remember what happened when they pushed you too far. When they forgot that even a buried seed becomes dangerous if left alone in the dark too long. You don't walk into rooms anymore. You haunt them. You bend the energy. You shift the balance. Because this version of you, this isn't just a chapter. It's the ruin of their entire narrative. You're not a hero. You're not a villain. You are the aftershock. The event. The scar that won't fade. And don't you dare apologize for it. Don't you dare flinch when they look at you with fear instead of affection. You earned that fear. You crafted it. You weaponized it. Because while they were trying to recover from life, you are building yourself into a legend. Not for praise, not for validation, but because something inside you finally snapped the leash. You are no longer interested in surviving. You're not here to be pitied. You're not some humble comeback story for comfort-addicted audiences. You're here to conquer, to dismantle, to own everything they said you couldn't even touch. You didn't come back. You arrived, crowned in silence, armored in pain, surrounded by ghosts who now answer to you. And when they finally fall quiet, when the ones who mocked you lower their heads in the presence of this force you've become, let the question hang in the air one last time. What the hell did you become? And you don't need to speak. You don't need to explain. You simply let your existence echo the answer through every shattered expectation. I became the end of everything you thought I'd be. So here we are, the old world in flames behind you, the old names crumbling like rusted monuments, the old you buried in a grave they forgot they dug with their own hands, and still, they don't get it. They're still waiting for you to stop, to slow down, to come back to normal. Normal? That sweet little coffin they carved to keep you compliant. That place is dead to you now. Because you've seen it, haven't you? The blueprint behind the curtain, the way they train you to betray yourself quietly, to fail politely, to lose without making noise, but no more. Now you wear your rage like armor. Now you wear your scars like royal garments. Now you walk into rooms like a verdict. This is the part they didn't plan for. They never imagined the day you'd stop fighting to be liked and start fighting to be legendary. They thought your silence was submission. They thought your absence meant defeat. But all this time, you were building your own kingdom in exile, in the ruins, in the cold, where the weak are forged, not forgotten. Now look around. Do you see anyone left who can stop you? Anyone bold enough to try? Anyone brave enough to look you in the eyes and say, go back to who you were? No? Exactly. Because there's no going back. There never was. You don't fit into that old mold because you crushed it. You are the chaos they couldn't control, the masterpiece that doesn't seek permission, the story that refuses to end quietly. You are not the echo of who you used to be. You are the explosion of every version you killed to get here. And domination, it's not even about them anymore. It's not about revenge. It's about the firestorm of self-respect that now surrounds everything you touch. Because the world remembers noise. It remembers madness. It remembers violence with a purpose. And you became that purpose. Not to join their system, not to get applause, not to be welcomed back to the table. You became the new table, the storm that breaks protocol, the name they whisper like a curse and a prophecy in one. Let them watch, let them tremble, let them witness what it looks like when someone refuses to die the way they were told. Because this is beyond power. This is legacy. And legacies aren't built in peace. They are forged in fire. and crowned with fear. Ah, legacy. That's what this was always about, wasn't it? Not the comeback, not the redemption, not the clean little ending with a bow on top, but permanence. You didn't claw your way out of hell to be liked. You didn't rebuild yourself from dust and fury just to fade quietly into someone else's memory. No, you came back to etch yourself into history with your teeth, with your blood, with every shattered illusion that tried to tame you. Because here's the truth no one dares admit. Most people, they die long before their body gives out. They die the second they compromise who they are, the second they choose safety over truth, the second they trade authenticity for acceptance. But you're surrected, you're fused. You let the fire burn everything fake until there was nothing left but the real you screaming beneath the ash. And now you walk different. You speak different. You exist differently because you know what they don't. Impact doesn't come from being good. It comes from being unignorable. They won't build statues for you. They won't write books about your kindness, but they'll never forget you. Not because of what you gave, but because of what you're fused to give up. They'll try to explain you away, call you unstable, obsessed, dangerous, good. Because the moment they can define you, they can contain you. And you were never meant to be contained. You don't fit their mold. You don't walk their path. You're the one they point at and say, that's what happens when someone stops giving a damn and starts making history. You're not looking for closure anymore. You're carving immortality through every terrified whisper of your name, through every door that slams shut in fear, through every system that breaks when you walk through it like it was never built to stop you. You're unforgettable, not because they want to remember, but because they can't forget. You left a scar on the timeline. You branded the narrative. You corrupted their fairy tale with reality so raw, it turned the whole story into a warning. They'll tell others, don't become like that. Don't go too far. Don't let the darkness take over. But that darkness, that's not what ruined you. That's what freed you. Because inside that darkness, you found your voice. You found your will. You found the monster with a message. And now you speak in echoes. Your existence is a curse for the comfortable, a trigger for the timid, a blueprint for the bold. And long after your face is forgotten, your impact won't be. This is it. The end of the path they never saw coming. The final breath of the version they tried to bury. And the first roar of the empire you built from the bones of your failures. You didn't come back to participate. You came back to rule, to carve your name into the stone of time, with hands that stopped shaking the moment you stopped seeking permission. Because what you became, it's not a phase, not a costume, not a rebellion. It's a permanent evolution. It's what happens when survival grows teeth, when suffering learns to speak, when silence starts setting things on fire. They wanted you broken. They got something worse. They got you awakened. Now every room you enter changes. Every glance you give disarms. Every step you take, it reminds the universe, this story didn't end. It detonated. And that throne, it wasn't given. It wasn't inherited. You didn't stumble upon it. You built it from the wreckage, nailed it together with every rejection, forged it in the fire of every night you screamed alone, and crowned it with your own damn madness. Now look at them, all the ones who said you were too much, too intense, too damaged, too lost. They're silent now, because the too much they feared became the too powerful, they'll never survive. You're not part of the system anymore. You're the exception that broke it. The glitch in the algorithm, the disease in their order, the beautiful catastrophe they can't kill and can't control. They thought they were building a failure, but instead, they built a myth. A story that spits in the face of limitation. A legacy not of mercy, but of inevitability. Because your rise was never optional, it was so fated. And now the world won't recover.
With hard work, you will succeed and even thrive. By adapting to a fast-changing work environment, at House Call Pro, we're here for you. Powerful software, strong community, and real value.
Reporting this lunch to HR. Bye-bye. You deserve a lunch promotion. To this toasted Italian nightclub. With melted cheese and premium Italian meats.
Is the sandwich my promotion?
I don't even work here. New toasted sandwiches at Jimmy John's. Oh, that's good.
Hello, beautiful beasts of the broken world. Welcome back to the underbelly of truth, where masks melt, veils burn, and only the scorched remain standing. You didn't come here for comfort. You came here to feel, to awaken something the world tried to bury. Tonight, or should I say today, we dig up the graves of illusions, of betrayals, of the karmic lovebirds, and the spiritual hitmen who dared to think you were prey. Let's begin. You see, there are people who meet you and mistake your kindness for softness. They taste your empathy and think it means you're edible. They look at your patience and whisper to themselves, "Easy target." They've studied your patterns like vultures circling a bleeding deer, but what they didn't know is you're no deer. You're not even a beast. You're a cosmic event, a divine anomaly, a thunderclap in human skin. But these karmic lovebirds, oh, these sugar-coated devils in human disguise. They flutter in, wearing fake halos and stitched-on innocence. They act like soulmates, like twin flames dipped in honey and smoke. They tell you, we were fated to meet, while they hide the dagger behind their smile. And the moment you let them in, they begin to dig. Dig into your soul, into your past, into your shadow. They don't love you, no. They want access. They want power. They want to drink from your light while they laugh in darkness. And when their game begins to slip, when your intuition starts to scream louder than their gaslight lullabies, here come the spiritual hitmen, the flying monkeys, the enablers, the agents of illusion, disguised as friends, family, or even healers, sent to confuse you, distract you, to make you doubt your vision, to convince you it's your fault, you're crazy, you're broken. But there's something they didn't account for, something their rituals, spells, gossip, and puppet strings could never touch. You, a non-human anomaly, an ascended glitch in their demonic program. You didn't come to Earth to play house with snakes. You came to tear the whole system down. And the moment they found out, the second your soul peeled back the illusion and stared them straight in the face, they panicked. They saw it, the fire behind your eyes, the abyss in your silence, the storm that smiled while they tried to bury you. That's when the karmic lovebirds turned on each other, because their bond was never divine. It was a trauma bond, forged in manipulation and tied together with the blood of people like you. But you didn't bleed, you burned. And fire doesn't mourn paper birds. These hitmen, these spiritual assassins they sent. They tried every trick, energy draining, smear campaigns, dream invasion. even psychic leashes disguised as cords of love. But what happens when you stop being prey? What happens when the hunted becomes unreachable? When your pain turns to power? When your heartbreak becomes a weapon? Let me tell you what happens. They unravel. Their karma, that slow dripping venom they've poured into others for years, it begins to turn on them. The curses they sent return with teeth. The lies they spun become webs they can't escape. And suddenly, the divine union they bragged about, it turns to ash. Because no love born from betrayal ever survives truth. And when they look up, when they beg for forgiveness, when they cry out, what happened to the angel we used to know? You'll smile, because angels don't carry vendettas, but archdemons do. You didn't just survive their warfare, you evolved in it. You became the very thing their spells could never bind. Not love, not rage. A force, a walking karma correction, a divine enforcer in skin and silence. You see, real power doesn't roar. It watches, it waits. And then it ends legacies of abuse in one move. The karmic lovers thought they were feeding on your light. What they didn't know was that every time they betrayed you, they were writing their own sentence, because you were the test. And they failed. And now you're untouchable. You walk with the chaos they tried to drown you in. You dance on the graves of every lie they ever whispered. You don't need revenge. You are the revenge. And every soul that watched you suffer, every mask that laughed while you bled, will have to watch you rise, while they sink. Because when the universe hides a god in human skin, it also hides a judge. And you, my friend, you're here to collect. Let's talk about the moment they knew. But not the first time you caught their lie. Not the second time you walked away and came back with grace. No. I'm talking about the exact moment the karmic lovebirds and their little astral mercenaries realized you weren't human. That this wasn't just another lesson. That you weren't some naive soul waiting to be taught. You were a mirror sent by the cosmos, one that reflects without mercy. And when they looked into you, they didn't see love or forgiveness or warmth. They saw themselves, their rot, their shame, their decay, their games. And in that split second, they crumbled. Because monsters can only survive if they believe they're misunderstood. But you didn't offer understanding. You offered clarity. And clarity kills illusions. It strips away the fantasy, the manipulation, the delusion that they're the main character and you're the footnote. You weren't a footnote. You were the ending. The last chapter they thought they'd rewrite. But the ink was yours. They always said, hurt people. Right. But they forgot one thing. Awakened people end that cycle. And ending a cycle means there's collateral damage. Oh, and the spiritual hitmen? The ones who thought their incantations and group rituals could stop you. They didn't realize you don't operate on spells. You are one. Your name? A vibration they can't pronounce without choking. Your silence? A hex louder than any chant. Your aura? A firewall that torches. Anything not built is in truth. They try to read your energy. They try to tap in. Try to infiltrate your field with flattery, sex, fake concern, gossip. But they kept hitting a void. Because you're no longer on the grid. You're off map. Astral proof, hex immune, beyond the reach of anyone not built from truth. And that's what scared them, because deep down, they know what you are. Not a light worker, not a shadow worker, not an empath, starseed, or healer.
There's gummy clusters. Unleash your senses.
With a remarkably delicious taste and friendly ingredients, Hello Toothpaste makes every day you.
I was once a wanted man. I hear this island's got no laws. So if you ain't with us, you're in for a bit of a shock.
No. You're something they don't have a name for. Something ancient, judgmental, unrelenting. A being born not to guide, but to correct. To break patterns, to expose parasites, to shatter false unions wrapped in poetic lies. You are the tower card, the eclipse, the nuclear shift in a timeline full of lies. And you didn't just walk away from them. You let them implode. You didn't smear them. You let truth do the talking. You didn't send karma. You became it. And now they're paranoid. They check their shadows. They dream of you. They see your face in crowds. They hear your voice in silence. Because when they crossed you, they didn't just lose a person. They triggered a cosmic audit. And guess what? You're not accepting apologies. You're not meeting for coffee. You're not revisiting the good times. You're not leaving the door open just in case. No. That chapter is dead, buried, cremated, and you lit the match. You didn't just cut cords. You ripped out the roots and planted sovereignty in their place. Let them choke on the fruits of their manipulation. Let them rot in the bed they made. Let the karmic birds scream and peck at each other in chaos. Because you've transcended the need to watch. They thought they were the storm. They thought they could wreck you. But you were the quiet apocalypse. And no one saw you coming. I knew you wouldn't flinch. Because only the ones forged in hellfire can listen this long and still whisper more. So now, let's peel back the last layer. The layer they never wanted you to see. The truth beneath the mask. Beneath their mask. The one that cracks when they finally understand what you truly are. You weren't a soulmate. You were a sentencing. An incarnation of justice. Wrapped in skin and stillness. You didn't come to dance. You came to demolish. And the karmic lovebirds, they were addicts, addicted to illusions, to puppeteering the hearts of those more divine than them. They saw you as another fix, another high, another beautiful soul to ruin and discard. They couldn't see the divine design in your eyes, because their eyes were too full of themselves. They thought you were the test, but no, they were. And when they failed, when they chose ego over evolution, control over connection, manipulation over meaning, the price wasn't a breakup. The price wasn't even your silence. The price was their spiritual annihilation. Because once you see someone's soul, once you truly see the rot behind the performance, there is no going back. And you didn't just see it, you saw it and didn't flinch. You stood there, unblinking, as their entire facade crumbled, and they knew. You weren't looking at a person anymore. You were staring down a verdict. That's when it shifted. They stopped trying to manipulate you. They started to fear you, fear your glow, fear your power, fear your knowing. Because you saw everything, the lies they told behind closed doors, the names they whispered when they thought you were sleeping, the masks they wore to impress their next victim. You saw the game, and you ended it without a word. But the spiritual hitmen, the wolves in healers' clothing, the friends turned informants, they couldn't handle it either, because you kept surviving. And not just surviving, glowing, expanding, transmuting every knife into a weapon, every scar into scripture. And let me tell you something they'll never admit. They tried everything. Astral attacks, energetic siphoning, dream poisoning, guilt trips, fake concern, rituals wrapped in love spells, even threats hidden behind spiritual jargon like you're out of alignment or you're attracting this. But nothing worked, because how do you manipulate a soul that remembers it was born in flames? How do you break someone who's already died and came back laughing? They thought you were in a storm. They didn't realize you are the storm. And now the winds have shifted. Now the karma comes in slow, sharp waves. Relationships collapse, fortunes wither. Their names get dragged, not by your voice, but by the vibrations of truth rippling through the cosmos. And you walk in silence, cloaked in peace, too healed to retaliate, too evolved to explain. But that silence, it's deafening. Because they expected vengeance, they expected drama, they expected screams. But what they got was the disappearance, elevation, detachment, unreachable sovereignty. And that is the ultimate punishment. To be blocked from the very light they tried to destroy. To realize too late that you were the one thing they could have never earned, never owned, never replaced. And now they have to live with the echo of your absence. A silence that eats through their lies like acid. A void that sings only one song. You failed the test. So let them spiral, let them project, let them call you heartless, let them tell their new supply you're evil now. Because the truth, they didn't meet a villain. They met a mirror, and what they saw terrified them. There comes a moment, a rare, irreversible moment, when the cosmic balance sheet gets printed, when all the energetic debts, betrayals, stolen power, and fake love are tallied up. And the universe, it doesn't forget a damn thing. You see these karmic lovebirds, with their trauma bonds wrapped in poetry, with their twin flame excuses and gaslight glitter lies. They were so sure they'd win, because they've always won. Always escaped with the story in their hands, always rewritten the past to cast themselves as the victim, or the martyr, or the misunderstood empath, just trying to love a broken soul. But what happens when they mess with something not from here? What happens when the one they tried to break isn't breakable? You weren't sent to be loved by them. You were sent to expose them. And that's what they can't face. You weren't confused. You weren't naive. You were patient, letting them dig deeper and deeper until the shovel hit bedrock. And still they kept digging. Because narcissism is hungry and karma is blind until you show up. You, the exception to their rule. The one person they couldn't manipulate, seduce, or erase. They tried to make you look crazy, didn't they? Told everyone you were upset, unstable, dangerous. But funny thing about truth, it ages better than lies. And now those same people are starting to see the cracks in the karmic couple's performance, in the hitmen's fake enlightenment, in the whole cursed empire built on betrayal and projection. Because you walked away and they come spiraled. And no one spirals from peace. No one destroys themselves trying to prove the devil was innocent, unless there's a devil in the mirror. But here's the part that really haunts them. You didn't retaliate. You transcended. You didn't match their energy. You became untouchable to it. And that is spiritual warfare of the highest kind. Because now they can't reach you. Not in dreams, not in whispers, not through mutuals, not through new lovers disguised as messengers. They burned the bridge and now they're screaming across the canyon, begging the void for a second chance. But you don't answer, because you don't speak